in progress.
All right. Welcome to another reading of the Tao Te Ching, both the original and the Parents' Tao Te Ching. I'm going to get right into it today. As you know, I read this one first, and then I read the second one and share the insights from William Martin and, of course, my own. Chapter 22. If you want to be whole, first let yourself be broken. If you want to straighten up, first let yourself be twisted. Allow yourself to be empty. If you want to be new, first let yourself grow old. Desires are great, go astray. That is why the master embraces the Tao as an example for the world to follow. Because if he is not self-centered, people can see the light in him. Since he does not brag about himself, he becomes a shining example. Because he does not glorify himself, he becomes a person of merit. Because he wants nothing from the world cannot defeat him. When the old master said, if you want to become whole, first you let yourself be broken, did not use empty words. Everyone who does this will be complete. Okay. That is the reading from here, which sometimes can be a little more spiritual, abstract, okay? And this is why I like to accompany it with the parents' version of this from William Martin. So let's read poem 22, which is titled, Your Greatest Legacy. If you want your children to succeed, show them how to fail. If you want them to be happy, show them how to be sad. If you want them to be healthy, show them how to be sick. If you want them to have much, show them how to enjoy little. Parents who hide failure, deny loss, and berate themselves for weaknesses have nothing to teach their children. But parents who reveal themselves in all of their humanness become heroes. For children look to these parents and learn to love themselves. Okay, I love this one. Okay, I'll read his insights and then we'll talk about it a little bit, okay? Parenting need not be a burden. One more thing you have to do and don't do well enough. Instead, consider your failures, your sorrows, your illnesses, and your difficulties as your primary teaching opportunities. All right, wow, lots we could say here. So the first thing I want to say is there's contrast is part of life. Okay. So I love that, if you want your children to succeed, show them how to fail. Even, if you want them to be healthy, show them how to be sick. Sometimes kids don't really get or can have gratitude for good health if they've never experienced it otherwise. Same with adults. Having too much, letting them enjoy the little, all this contrast is necessary. It is life. That's how things go. So we need to be able to have them experience that. We're not sheltering them from that. What I really love from his interpretation is this idea that parents who hide failure, deny loss, and berate themselves for weakness have nothing to teach their children. In other words, parents who reveal themselves in all of their humanness become heroes. It is so easy for parents to want to show up in their best selves, which is obviously what we want to do. We want to, be a good example. Kids are always watching us. But part of that is being human and showing your humanness. I was just talking about this with a client because when we do repair conversations with our kids, so when something doesn't go well and we do a repair conversation, I'm not meant to get this parenting thing in a perfect way, but sometimes we can fall into that trap. Watching others are thinking that our children are an extension of who we are. We sometimes take parenting so personally, which is understandable because you invest a lot in your children. You raise them, you give birth to them, you feed them, you shelter, everything. Your life is their life, and for many years. So there is that tendency to want to make sure we're doing a great job, and of course, and also notice that if we only showed up in ways that were always doing things right or perfectly or trying to do it that way, we're actually doing a bit of a disservice for our children because they don't see how life actually really is. So when we repair, when we show up in our true humanness and that things, aren't always great and shiny and amazing, and are able to have real conversations, real uncomfortable conversations, when we can show up like that, that is truly showing up in your full humanness. And what I love about this, what he said in his insights, is parenting not need to be a burden. If we just shifted the mindset that parenting is what it is, and if you have a really strong-willed child, trust me, I get how difficult it can be raising a kid like that. And it's going to be amazing because they're so strong-willed and it's tough. If you can invite yourself to take on the mindset, let me just do life with more ease and flow, instead of trying to do this, trying to make it this way, can I get into the natural rhythm of things and allow things to unfold more organically? Listen, I get that can be a stretch, and there are moments when you can do that. And of course, you're not just a parent, you're a substitute frontal lobe. So you, depending especially on the age and stage of your child, you do a lot for your child and guide them in many ways. But and we are that those executive functioning skills for our kids. And that's not all that we are for them. They are their own sovereign beings. So the more we can lean into curiosity, the more that we can co-create with them while still guiding them, the easier and lighter it can be. So relieving ourselves a little bit of some of the pressure. And if you don't know how to do that, book a call with me, because that is one of the best ways to give yourself some life into parenting, especially when it feels pretty heavy, which I know at times it can be. If you walk away from this and one of the things that report card season is happening for many children. This first learn to succeed, show them how to fail. If you need support on that, I've got a blog on how to shift your mindset for report cards, how to make it more neutral so that you're not placing a lot of emphasis on it, because we don't want our children to be attached to their marks. Yes, it is a sliver and a reflection of their performance, but it is just a sliver of what they are fully capable of. So embrace some lightness, read that blog that I've got, and of course you can always book a connection call with me. Hope this was helpful, and I will see you next time.